Happy Friday, listeners. I'm Kendra.
Hi guys, I'm Mercedes, and this week we're talking about the a cappella romance Pitch Perfect.
But guys, this is our last movie in musical month. We have just had so much fun showcasing our favorite music movies with you guys. And so hopefully we'll have a lot more coming in the future. But of course, Mercedes, we gotta kick the show off by talking about our celebrity crush of the week. Who are you crushing on this week?
Oh my goodness, Kendra. So I have multiple crushes this week, but I
Oh,
narrowed it down
okay.
to Jonathan Bailey from season 2 of Bridgerton. It premiered last week, so of course I
hmm
binged it all in one day over the weekend.
Oh, wow.
My my mom is like a Bridgerton super fan of the books, so she
Okay.
like does countdowns for the show. And she
hmm
knew I was gonna love this season because it has the classic enemies to lovers. And it is so good. Jonathan Bailey is so amazing. Like this love story is great. I love it. It's a slow burn. So you're just patiently
Mm.
waiting for the kiss. It's like the Pride and Prejudice, like barely holding hands thing that I'm like, love. Like, yes, exactly. The yearning is just insane right now.
Wait, okay, hold on. I need to understand this. So I watched the first season of Bridgerton. I'm gonna be completely honest, I wasn't a fan, but I'm willing to watch the second season. I heard that Jean Reggae Page is not in this season though.
Yeah. So the
What?
Bridgerton series focuses on each sibling in the Bridgerton family finding love. So this time it's the older
Ah,
brother's turn to find love. So the one with like the gnarly sideburns in season 1, it's his turn,
yeah.
but he doesn't have the sideburns anymore, thank God.
Interesting. So because they completely left that on a hook in the first season. Are they gonna come back to it? Because I got a lot of questions.
The girl from the first season is in this one, but only like in little cameos. So I
Okay.
don't know. I think the couples, once they find love, they dip into their sibling stories a little bit as like a married person, but
Mm,
after that, they're really not. I hope they bring this story back, honestly. Like I enjoyed season 1 and I thought it
yeah.
was really good. And then but this season, whole other level. It's my
Okay,
entire TikTok right now. It's just
do I have to rewatch season one in order to understand season two?
no, not at
Okay,
all.
good, good, because that's what I was like, I don't have time for all that. Like, perfect. Okay, we'll be tuning in. I always love your suggestions. So speaking of rewatching things, I have been rewatching Atlanta because the new season came out on Thursday, and it has been like 3 years or something since the last season came out. It's been a
Not
minute.
yeah, it's been a while.
And I remember when the last season ended, this was even before the pandemic. I feel like they were like, "Yeah, we're coming back in 2022." And I remember thinking that is so far away, and now here it is. Here we are. I survived. But because of that, my celebrity crush of the week this week is Lakeith Stanfield. I just
So
absolutely I
beautiful.
love him. I love him so much. I feel like he's so alternative, right? Every
Yeah.
time you see a pic of him on the red carpet, he's just doing something different. And I just feel like having a conversation with him would be an out of world experience. And so, Lakeith Stanfield, if you are listening to this, please slide into my DMs. Let's talk. I will buy you a cup of coffee. I just want to hear what's on your mind and what's on your heart. That's it.
He is so effortlessly cool too. Like he can
Yeah,
wear anything and it looks amazing. Like he just has that like calmness to him too.
yeah,
Beautiful man.
exactly. He has BDE. Quiet confidence. Yeah,
Oh,
like
oh yes.
All right, guys, we are going to slide right into TLDR. This is just a time for us to recap the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. Just a warning, there are spoilers ahead, but if you have not seen Pitch Perfect, you can buy it on Amazon Prime or, you know, pirate it like everyone else. Anyways, take it away, Mercedes.
Okay, so this story follows the aspiring music producer Becca Mitchell, played by Anna Kendrick, as she starts her freshman year of college against her will. She has big dreams of moving to LA and making it big in the music industry, but she has to make a deal with her dad that if joins one club and actually tries in college this first year and still hates it by the end, then he'll pay for her to go to LA. So that's the deal. So she reluctantly attends the school's activity fair where she meets two leaders of the all women's Barden Bella's a cappella group, Aubrey, played by Anna Camp, and Chloe, played by Brittany Snow, who we love.
Yes, we do.
And yeah, so she leaves unimpressed, but later Chloe discovers Becca singing, like her singing talent in the communal college bathroom, of course. So cringe. But much to everyone's surprise, Becca actually attends auditions and joins the team. And she's also starting an internship at the same time at the school's radio station alongside another freshman, Jessie, who's her love interest, Skylar Aston, who coincidentally is the new guy on the school's all men a cappella group. So they're no rivals. And the Bella's reputation is in question right now from the beginning of the school year. And so the strict rules on this strain the team and like really just mess up their budding bond. It's really tough for them to actually become friends because Aubrey's traditional ways really battle with Becca's angst. And it leads to major losses for the team and even for Becca and her budding romance with Jesse. But after a chaotic team apology, the women are actually building a true friendship now, and they get a second chance for the finals. And Becca takes the lead on planning the performance. It, she uses her DJ ways to mix it up there. And the team actually wins with a special John Hughes tribute that she does specially for Jesse, which is really sweet. And yeah, so they get the championships. The Bellas are on the rise again, and Becca's freshman year ends with a happy ending.
Yeah, which not expecting because the way that she started off, you would have been like, "Okay, girl, you are
My God.
going down real quick."
That girl's attitude, I'm like, no, I could never hang out with you.
I have a lot to say about that. But first, I saw so this is a 2012 film written by Kay Cannon, who you might know as the co-executive producer of hit shows like New Girl, Mercedes, That's for You, um, 30 Rock, and Girl Boss. And this movie is directed by Jason Moore, who also directed Sisters, starring Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. And I just also have to give him a shout out because he directed an episode of my favorite show, One Tree Hill, which I have a tattoo of on my wrist right here.
Please.
So
I don't wanna.
anything other than what I've been. Oh, yo, Gavin DeGraw all freaking day.
I love it.
But you know what's so cool though? Like, if we're talking about industry facts of this movie, so Esther Dean, who plays Cynthia, she is a famous songwriter, and during the riff off in this movie, she sings S&M by Rihanna, which is a song that she wrote. If that's so,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
So she's written a lot of songs for Rihanna. She's also written Super Bass by Nicki Minaj. She wrote Rude Boy. She wrote Firework by Katy Perry. So she's just like this epic
That's
songwriter.
amazing.
I know. And I feel like I saw this whole TikTok on her about how people don't know who Esther Dean is and she's done X, Y, and Z and all this and that. And it's really cool. So she's a powerhouse.
Wow. That's so impressive.
Yeah,
Oh my
definitely.
goodness. I read that this is actually based on a nonfiction book called Pitch Perfect,
Hmm.
and it's by Mickey Rapkin, and it's like an investigation into collegiate a cappella. So this is really inspired by like real life.
Real life. That's so funny. Speaking of funny, I know you have your takes, Mercedes. I love Rebel Wilson. I think she's one of the funniest people walking this planet. And the reason for that is because she improvised most of her lines in this movie. Like,
That is impressive.
that is so impressive. Like, she would literally go on these 20-minute tangents on set and just everyone have the crew, have the cast, everyone just in tears. Because she would just be going off. I thought that was amazing.
You could really tell that there was a friendship on this set. I mean, Brittany Snow has even said that this is the movie that like brought her back into made her fall back into acting, like in
Mm,
love with acting
mhm.
because she thought it was different. She was excited when she got to set, which I mean makes all the difference. You can really
It really
tell.
it really does, yeah, and Brittany Snow's just such a naturally great performer, like, yeah, we all saw her in Hairspray. It's nice to see her play someone nice, though, because I feel
Hello,
like it's
John didn't die.
yeah, yep.
Iconic.
I feel like it's so easy for her to, like, play the villain and, like, the mean girl in high school, and it's nice to see her be someone nice in college, you know? In high school, she was a bully, but in college, she's nice. No, I'm kidding. Um,
No,
yeah.
only in Hairspray she was definitely the bully. Oh, she also sang in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Have you seen that?
I have not seen that.
Oh
Okay,
my god,
that's
she's
good to
great.
know. You know, n- okay, just the funniest trope in here is Elizabeth Banks' character, the two announcers. And I
Oh,
actually learned,
yes.
yeah, that Gail was supposed to be played by Kristen Wiig, but she had scheduling conflicts, so that's why Elizabeth Banks took over.
Wonder if she was filming because Bridesmaids came out the year before this, like right before this movie came out. So this was like the same era of all the like
Mm,
women-led comedy.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do think that this movie really like defines the 2010s in that same way. Um that like Bridesmaids does.
Hmm.
And the things that came out like Glee does, like all these things came out around the same time and kind of circle around each other.
Mhm.
And it, like, is infamous for, like, famous quotes that were shared online. Like, this is such a quirky internet movie, and it stayed like, the humor stayed online for a really long time because I don't think it was big on the in the box office, like, for release, but once
Mhm.
it went to streaming and, like, I think DVD, like, once people were actually seeing it at home,
Yeah.
that's when it changed the game. And we've seen all these, like, actors in, other projects together too, like, Adam Devine and Rebel Wilson have done so much together.
Yeah. Oh, they're so funny. Like, those 2 are so funny.
Did you know he didn't know this was a singing movie? He thought
I
he went
saw
to
that
audition and he thought he was a baseball
baseball
movie.
movie. I'm like, "Adam, get a new agent. They gotta prep you for that. That's their whole
I
point of
know.
existing is to prep you for stuff like that." And so he was like, "I have to change everything about this audition now."
I love it.
He's so funny. He has a crazy life story, which I'll talk about a little bit later.
Mhm.
But listeners, you know what time it is. It's time for Time Capsule. Mercedes and I just like to recap where we were, what we were doing when we saw this movie when it came out for the first time. So I will say I can't really remember where I saw this movie, but I just remember loving it. And I think I remember it was in college because I was in college in 2012. But if I did see this in college, I would have tried so hard to join the acapella club. Can't sing, worth crap.
I was gonna
But
ask you if because you're so into performing arts, so I was like, "Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure Kendra was in some type of a cappella group."
No, because I can't sing, and that's, like, the worst thing, like, my senior year of high school, we did this play, Thoroughly Maury and Millie, and this was the first time literally in Mountain View history that they had a play with the black lead, because we always did stuff like My Fair Lady or freaking The Sound of Music, and there are no black people in it, so I felt so happy that, okay, the time that I'm in school, they're doing a play with a black lead, and I thought I was gonna get it because I was a senior, and it was literally me and one other black girl, and she was a sophomore, and they gave it to the other black girl because I couldn't sing, and I'm like, "Ugh." It's so bad. Anyways, I'm not bitter, I'm not mad, not still thinking about it 10 years later. It's not happening. But where were you? What were you doing when you saw this?
So, I don't remember the first time I watched this, but I can almost guarantee I saw it with my friend group in high school.
Mm,
I was 16, so I was just starting my junior year when this came out in September 2012.
mhm.
And we went to the movies all the time. Like, I mean, we had really strict parents as like a whole group, so we weren't really allowed to do much.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so this came out near, so I can like guarantee that we saw it together probably like the first month of school or so.
Yeah, I feel like 2012 was a very interesting year because, like I said, I was in college. This was my sophomore year of
Oh,
college. Yeah, and I lived in my sorority house, which actually
wow.
kind of changed and shaped my entire character, like for the better, but not for the reasons you would think. We just
Oh,
so, like for example, we had house chores that we had to do, and one of them was loading the dishwasher. And now I grew up with the dishwasher, but we never used it. We always washed our dishes by
that's
hand
probably
unless it
fine.
was
Yeah.
yeah, unless it was Thanksgiving. And so I remember it was my turn to load the dishwasher, and I didn't know how to do it, and that was, like, the house joke for, like, a little bit. Like,
See,
"Kendra doesn't
I
know how to
don't
do
know how
dishes."
to use a dishwasher either, so
Yeah.
I
I
understand.
was like, "No, our parents made us struggle and to wash every single dish by the hand." But I also feel like it was just these girls were pretty insufferable. Like, they were just so rich and so privileged and everything, just like they could not see understand life outside of their world.
Ugh.
And so after that, I went to go live with in like the environmental kids, and they were amazing and changed my life. And then I also interned at the Cannes Film Festival in France that year, and that was the start of me having a birthday in a different country every year. So that's I turned 20 in 2012 in France, and every year after I've had my birthday in a different country, so
I
so
love that. Oh, what a memory.
yeah, it was fun.
So cool. I was 16, like I said, I was a
Yeah.
junior in high school. So, as we all know, junior is like quoted as being like the most intense year, like the most important year. So, and I'm such a high stress, like perfectionist. So the
Mhm.
stress was on. I was in so many extracurriculars at school. I was so involved. I was a yearbook girl. So I
Mm.
was like yearbook, National Honor Society, like cultural clubs, volunteering. Like I did a lot, and I was very active at school. I went to, like, all, like, school functions, everything. I was
Mhm.
very involved, super overachiever in class too. So, the pressure was on. This was the first time that I was, like, really, like, stressing about grades for the first time. Because
Mhm.
before it's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get the A." And then
Mhm.
this was, like, the struggle. Especially that fall was, like, the most intense school year for me in high school, and I was also fully in love with Harry Styles. Like, this was One
Fully in
Direction
love.
time. So if I wasn't at school, I was basically just, like, on Tumblr and like Twitter reblogging One Direction. So I had a dedicated Twitter to One Direction that I will never reveal. And I was just constantly logged on. I was so online just from
Mhm.
One Direction. Like I had their tag, like they would text me when they would tweet. Like I had all the alerts on, everything. Like you were not getting, and like I would try to challenge myself and be like, don't talk about Harry Styles Day. Don't talk about One Direction Day. And that would be like my challenge for the day. And I could never get
Oh
through
my
it.
god. Mercedes, this is so funny because like what One Direction was to you at that time in your life is what the Jonas Brothers were to me at that time in my
Oh,
life.
I
Oh,
have
I was
I have love it.
exactly the same way with the Jonas Brothers when I was in high school. Like you, I went to college and I remember thinking, okay, Kendra, people are like 22 years old here. You can't talk about the Jonas Brothers. And like the first week I had to. I had to. I like went to a
I
frat party.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty shameless. I also like when I love something, I'm like, "Oh, people will love it too. They just haven't gotten a taste of it yet." Like I'm
Yeah.
so convinced that something I like should be like I'm never the girl who's like ashamed to like One Direction. That was never like people I was like the One Direction girl.
Yeah.
Like people knew.
That is so funny. I love it. Well, hey, I will say, like, you have been kind of right because everything that you've suggested to me to watch in terms of like TV shows or movies, I've always liked. So it's because I haven't gotten a taste of it yet. So, so you're right.
Exactly. Everyone just needs to try things out.
Exactly. All right, guys, it's time for the Rom-Com Hall of Fame. But of course, Mercedes, as we do, we gotta roast this movie. We gotta talk about what doesn't age well. I don't know about you, but I have a ton. Okay, so
Yeah.
the first thing is when Becca arrives at school and she's walking through the quad, you can see a group of guys, and they're probably frat guys, like rating girls as they walk past. And I just remember this happened my freshman year of college, and it was mortifying. Like the whole first month of college, there was this frat house. I won't say names, but they were on the corner of like all of the frat houses,
Yeah.
and they would just hold up numbers every time a group of freshmen walked past.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and you could tell we were freshmen because we were stupid and wore our lanyards around our neck,
Of course.
and, like, you do that until people
Yeah.
tell you, you don't have to do that, right? So,
It's traumatizing.
yeah, it was a lot.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Stuff like that terrifies me. Oh my gosh.
It is a
This
lot.
this movie was just like so 2010s.
Mm,
And I say that in like a way of like, okay, this is like a piece of time, almost like a cultural artifact of the time. But
mm,
also the comedy now has definitely changed. And 2012, it may have seemed really innovative, but now watching this, most of these jokes didn't land for me. There's
mm,
so many jokes about body image and sexuality that just don't age well.
mm,
And a lot of this humor is satirical and like self-aware in the way that it like pokes fun of like the aggressiveness and elitism of like the club and acapella in general and just
mm.
like dweebs having a lot of power in their own little world, you know, which is funny. That's always funny. And but all the jokes about people's bodies and like self-presentation
Mm,
become I don't know, like I don't like when people become the butt of the joke just for like what they look like, how they present themselves. And even when it's self-targeted, I just like it just feels so dated and
mhm.
just not my vibe.
So I'm guessing the Oscars this Sunday, didn't land for you either, that Chris Rock joke.
I yeah, I can't speak on it.
Something else, I feel like okay, there when Becca goes back to apologize to the group, she's like, "I've never been the type of girl that's had a lot of girlfriends," and I'm just like, "That's
Oh
such
my
a red
god.
flag." Women who are like,
Yes.
"I don't have any girlfriends. Girls are so much drama. I just hang out with guys." It's like, that is such a red flag. If you are a woman who does not have other female friends, come on
Yes.
now. It literally just shows a lack of maturity and also your need for validation from the opposite sex. Like, the reason you don't have female friends is because, women are gonna call you out on your BS. Like
Exactly. And like I wasn't shocked when she said it, but I was
Mhm.
disappointed. And
Yeah.
I just roll my eyes at people that say that she's such like a not like other girls pick me girl.
Yeah.
I hate it. Those are the worst. Like, come on. Just like be nice, make a friend. Also, the
Yeah.
fact that she doesn't like movies, I could roast Becca all day long.
Yeah,
Do
but
not like
literally no,
Becca.
let's get into that because that is a whole thing. How do you not like exactly what Jesse said? He's like, "That's like not liking puppies." Who doesn't like freaking
Exactly.
puppies? Like
Exactly. There are so many movies. You can't find one you like. That
Yeah.
documentary.
Exactly. Like, she has to be so, like, alternative, be like, "No, I don't follow the status quo." Like, shut up, Becca. Sit down.
Exactly, it's such a bummer. Like, she
Yeah.
doesn't wanna have fun like, ever. And
Mhm.
I understand not want like, when I started college, I didn't wanna go to the school I ended up going to, but I
Mm.
got over that real quick once I started making friends, and then I was like, "I love college."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and also too, Becca complaining the whole time about getting a free college education. Like, girl,
Yeah,
I have $32,000 in student loan debt. Do not
mhm,
make me smack you. Like, I was
exactly, to be
so
so
bad the whole
lucky.
like, yeah, well, what a privilege it is to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting this education for free and I don't wanna be here." Like, there are people who are slaving away right now, dying
Yeah,
to go to college, to get the opportunity to try to go to college, and you are here getting
totally.
it for free and you're just pouting. Like, stop with all the privilege. I can't. And,
Yeah,
like, speaking of privilege too, I feel like, yes, there are people of color in this movie, but still felt very, very white. Did
it's
you feel
very
that?
white. It's
Yeah.
incredibly white.
Is it because acapella is a very vanilla thing? Like
I think so, but I also think it was just, like, 2010s casting. Like, that
Mm,
wouldn't like, if we had an ensemble cast like this made now, it would have been a
mhm.
lot different, and there wouldn't just
Yeah.
be, like, tokens. Where
Yeah.
here, it's just, like, token per a cappella group, it feels.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, guys, we should talk about our favorite quote. I wanna hear what yours is.
Okay, mine is when Brittany Snow makes her speech about nodes, and she's like, "I have nodes. I'm a survivor." And it's so funny. My best friend Kaylee, we always joked that she had nodes because her voice would crack all the time. So every time I hear this quote, I think about her. And it makes it 10 times funnier. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
love you, Kaylee.
I love that. I love when they are at the initiation party and, Rebel Wilson walks up to Adam Devine, and she's like, "I sometimes have a feeling I could do crystal meth, but then I'm like, better not."
Yes, when she rejects him. Oh, well, my
So
goodness.
funny.
Yeah. She's good with the one-liners. She
She's
is.
good with the one-liners, exactly. So, okay, with the one-liners and everything else and, like, even though I felt like this was a good movie, but it wasn't because of the protagonist, which is very rare. It's usually the protagonist that is driving the movie and causing audiences to like they're like changing their feelings on it. But I feel like that wasn't the case because Becca's just such an unlikable character. I'm curious, if this movie popped up on your Tinder feed, would you swipe left or would you swipe right?
So, I'm swiping right, it's definitely not something I rewatch often. But for me, I'm swiping right because it's just, like, I don't know, the core of it is just being a story of friendship, and it's the power of friendship amongst women, and we see
Mhm.
that, and we get to see Becca evolve into a girl's girl, which we like to see, and the romance is sweet, but it's not resonating like the way that the friendships do, and
Yeah.
the bonds between the women, once they, like, really get it together, and, like, when they're singing on the bus, that's so cute when they're singing
Mhm.
Miley Cyrus on the bus, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's those things, and, like, my friendships with women are so sacred to me,
Mhm.
and friendship love deserves to be celebrated too, and, like, that's as much as the love in this as, I don't know, the romance between her and Jesse.
Absolutely. I was watching a TikTok about how this woman, she was like, "I used to be the girl that said things like, 'Oh, I don't have any girlfriends. There's so much drama. I just like hanging out with guys.'" And she was like, "That's because I didn't have any like strong female relationships in my life." And she was like, "When you find your core group of friends, like the people who understand you, who you just have like cry therapy with, who just get you on a whole nother level, like that is a friendship that will stand the test of time." And I feel like there are people who don't have that. And it was nice to see that kind of form in this movie. So I feel like I would swipe right, but also I'm a musical geek. I love any movie about singing. And also I love is it Divine or Devine?
I always say divine.
Okay, Adam Devine. He has a crazy life story. He like almost died when he was a kid. Have you heard his story? Okay, so on Disney Plus, they do this. I don't remember what the show is called, but they like profile a famous person that like has an inspiring story, and they did an episode on Adam Devine. And like he just had a crate like he almost died when he was a kid. He got like seriously hit by a
Oh
car and like
my
was in the hospital for a minute, just like broke everything and it just kind of like changed the trajectory of his life. You should watch it. It's like a half-hour episode on
I
Disney.
will definitely, definitely
Yeah.
be watching that.
Yeah, I'll text you when I figure out what the name is, but it's really good, and it just made me appreciate him so much more because I feel like with comedians, you just think like, "Oh, they grew up, like, liking comedy and all this stuff." It's like, you know, it's just he has a very crazy story. So
Yeah,
if you're
especially with, like, white boy comedians, you're like,
yeah,
"Okay, who do you
yeah,
know in the industry?" Whatever,
exactly,
like
exactly. Thank you. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, we are actually going to move into couples therapy. Mercedes and I just love to give advice for the characters on how they can improve their relationship, which I have a lot. I'm gonna say Becca needs to just let her guard all the way freaking
Mhm.
down. Like every time you turn around, you see Jesse being so sweet to her, like with the picnic on the quad and the Breakfast Club movie, and even freaking bailing her out of jail. Like, I'm a broke
Yeah.
college student. I don't have money to do that. Yes, I'm gonna call your dad because I don't like. And he was like, I'm the
Right.
only one here. And just even trying to make her laugh during like stacking CDs. And literally all Becca does is show her utter disdain for his life and existence. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's so sad because it's not been like, I don't even find Jesse annoying or pushy or anything. Like, I feel like he's just a guy who's showing his interest, which a lot of us girls would like more guys to communicate, you
Yeah.
know? And I just feel like if you don't like someone, you should just say that and make it obvious because it's obvious that Jesse likes you. And I just feel like the way that Becca handles frustration is very toxic too. Like we as adults, and I didn't know this until like I was 26, that it is not okay for people to yell. Like when you are having an argument or you don't like something and you raise your voice. Because in my house growing up, all we did was yell. And it's just I didn't learn that it was a sign of like someone who cannot regulate their emotions until, like I said, I was already an adult. And so the fact that, like, Becca just, like, yells at him and was like, "Oh my god, why are you here?" And I was just like, "Come on, dude." Like, I just feel like
Yeah.
Becca needs to mature a lot and learn how to communicate a lot.
Yeah, she's my main frustration with this
Mhm.
relationship and
Yeah.
with the whole movie, but, like, she has her defenses up, and she's quick to reinforce them as
Mhm.
punishment for people. So
Mhm.
anytime things don't go her way or people don't let her have her way, she's, like, walls up again. It's, like, very it's only child syndrome, that's what it feels like, and it feels
Mm.
very spoiled, and I just can't support it, and she doesn't communicate anything, but she complains that no one understands her. And that's it's so annoying. And I don't know, to play devil's advocate, like, I guess, Jesse shouldn't be so persistent if someone's acting so disinterested in you, like, maybe respect the boundary, but also, like, nothing he did was, like, uncomfortable or, I don't know, like, really forceful. It
Yeah.
was really like, it could almost be translated of just, like, "Be my friend."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like but it's also, like, persistence is so, like, nonchalantly accepted in love stories,
Yep.
and that's something that I think should change. So there's back and forth there, but mainly Becca just bugs me.
Yeah, she really again, just, like, such an unlikable protagonist in such a great movie, which I feel like you don't see a ton. But I'm curious what you feel like their love languages are.
I think Becca needs quality time because you can tell she has so many walls up. But when she gets to know people a little more, that's when she relaxes. And you can see her character just like grow. Like her arc really shines through when she's having quality time with people. And I think she gives acts of service because she came to Jesse's defense in that fight after the semifinals. She creates the whole plan to really modernize the Bellas for the championship, and then she does the whole Breakfast Club Judd Nelson tribute for Jesse in the finals, which I
Mhm.
think is such a sweet it's so sweet. Like, I say all this stuff about Becca, and then I'm like, "That's sweet." When they both put their fists up, I'm like, "Aw."
And what about Jesse?
Jesse gives quality time, like the movie watching, the picnic, even like at the internship when he like uses the record covers as like different like he's so silly and always wants to make her laugh, which is so sweet.
Yeah.
And I think he needs acts of service and maybe words of affirmation too, because he
Yeah.
just needs like any type of encouragement and
Yeah.
reinforcement.
I feel like too for 2 people who love to sing, like, words of affirmation definitely has to be in their love
Oh,
language,
definitely.
like
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
So, okay, if we're talking about if this couple lasts in 5 years, I said absolutely not. Some
Yeah,
relationships are just meant for college, and that's it, and that's okay, you know? They help us
exactly.
learn, they help us grow, but what do you think?
Exactly. I think, yeah, no, of course they're not gonna last over the
Yeah.
next 5 years. Like, this is a college relationship, and that's totally fine, like, leave it at that. It could
Mhm.
even could be a fling, like, we don't know what that's gonna turn into.
Yeah.
But, yeah, these 2 are really sweet at the for the Breakfast Club tribute, at the aca finals, but they're so young, and it just doesn't like, you don't really see, like, any real connection. You just
Mhm.
see, like, 2 people who, like, kinda like each other, you know?
Yeah, that's how it was growing up, right? Like, we never like, you never like someone because of the qualities that they had. You were just like, "Oh, they're cute. I'm gonna like" you know, like, when you're in high
Yeah,
school.
it's kind of like Stockholm syndrome in a way where you're just like, "I see you a lot and I'm around you a lot. I
Yeah.
think I like you."
Yeah, exactly. I remember having a crush on a guy in high school who I had known since middle school, but because, like, I finally noticed him in high school, I was like, "Oh, I like you." Like, we had been friends the whole time, but I never it had nothing to do with any of his characteristics, his personality traits, nothing. It was just like, "Oh, I see you now. You're in my
Yeah.
vicinity. I see you more."
One time I developed a crush on a boy because he listed out the birthdays of the members of One Direction,
Ah! Yeah.
including year.
Wow.
And I was like, "Do I? Am I?"
So, okay, heartthrob, heartthrob, heartthrob. Who would you take home to your friends and family? Who would you introduce to your loved ones?
Adam Devine,
Mm.
definitely. He's
Mhm.
so funny. His character in this is absurd and so intense,
Yep.
but I really enjoy him in everything he does. I think he's charming. I think honestly he should be in more rom-coms. He's in a couple.
Yeah, he's in a couple Netflix ones, right? He's in that,
Yeah,
this so
I forget. He's one with Alexandra Daddario, and then he's in one with Rebel Wilson.
yeah, 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 that's right. Oh, I do like seeing him on my screen. He just makes everything better, I feel like.
Yes. His arc in Modern Family was the best.
Ah.
Like, for any guest on Modern Family, he had a good
Oh
one.
my god, Modern Family will always have a special place in my heart. Okay, so I would actually take, Utkarsh Ambudkar, who played Donald. He's the rapping
Yes.
one in The Troublemakers, because I just feel like he could beatbox and rap really well, and if he can move his lips that fast, I would like to explore what else he can do with those lips.
Ooh.
Just saying.
Ooh.
Just saying. I know he's married.
He's in so much stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
So much.
so much. He's in that new series. I think it's on CBS Ghost, or is it NBC? He's on a new. He's on in this like new show called Ghost, and he's just always around. Like if you look at his IMDb page, he's
Yeah, he's
constantly
on
working.
everything. He
Yeah.
was on the Mindy Project. He's
hmm
been in like all over the place.
hmm
Impressive.
Very impressive. All right, guys, we are going to play Mary Smooch Ghost. We have
Yeah.
Jesse, Bumper, and Benji. Did you? Oh, I knew you. You picked this list, Mercedes. You're killing me. You're killing me. Okay, who would you marry? Who would you smooch? And who would you ghost?
I would marry Jesse. I would smooch Bumper, and I would ghost and Benji.
Mm, okay. 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 You know I have a problem separating the actor from the character sometimes. Um, because I really like Veggie, the character. And
Yeah.
I feel like I would marry Veggie because he's so nerdy and I kind of like
Whoa. You heard it here. You heard her first. She's marrying dear Evan Hansen.
I marry him.
Evan.
But it's just so funny how he's like, "Oh, I'm not just into like geeky stuff. I'm into close-up magic." I was like, "Wait, that's kind of cool."
God. Have you ever met a guy who loves magic?
No. Have you ever had a guy pull a coin from behind your ear?
No, thank God. But I have met guys who do like magic, and I I'm startled every time.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of think it's cool.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, it's just like you're never like prepared for it. It just comes out of nowhere and you're like, "Oh."
Yeah, exactly. God, but see, now I have the choice between Jesse Bumper, who I two I okay, I'd probably ghost Bumper because he's kinda mean. Like, when
He
Rebel
is
Wilson
mean,
walks up to him and he's like, "You are probably the most disgusting human being I've ever seen." I was like, "Oh my gosh."
he
Like
flirts like a toddler.
yeah, exactly,
Like a middle school
exactly.
girl who's just
Yeah.
bullying you.
So then I would smooch Jesse. I do like the breakfast so it's very funny. Most people know I have a tattoo of John Cusack's character from Say Anything Lloyd Dobler
Yeah.
on my arm, and I was actually thinking about also getting Judd Nelson's character from, The Breakfast Club
Breakfast
with the
Club.
fist in the
Oh
air,
my
just,
gosh,
like, right
really?
above
Judd
it.
Nelson girl?
Okay, in The Breakfast Club, I think, yes, him and Ali Sheedy were my favorite, but also I love Judd Nelson's character in, St. Elmo's Fire. Ugh,
Ooh,
so good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So good, so good, so good, so
I'm an Emilio Estevez girl. I can't talk today in the
okay,
Breakfast Club.
if we're talking about 80s heartthrobs though, like Judd Nelson isn't even on my list. Okay, Rob Lowe, and Andrew McCarthy.
God.
Andrew McCarthy circa 1986 is like every fantasy that I've ever had.
80s heartthrobs. The whole cast of The Outsiders is on my list.
Yes,
Like that's it.
yes. Oh
That's
my
it.
gosh, that whole I used to watch that movie daily. Dang.
Flo still gets, like, letters from middle school girls every year being like, "Hi, I just watched the movie."
Yeah. He was so
I love
beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have to do a whole
it.
we gotta do an 80s movie in the future because I got a lot to say.
Definitely.
All right, guys, before we wrap it up, we always love to bring in a pop culture moment. So, speaking of Skylar Astin, I saw that he's now in Grey's Anatomy, which is good because I'll be honest, the whole time I was watching this movie, I was like, where is he? Like, I haven't seen
Yeah.
him in a while. Like, what has he been in? And
I
so
see
I'm
him on
really
TikTok
oh, really? I got
sometimes. Get a
okay.
little jump scare some.
But I was seriously thinking, I was like, This guy is good. Why isn't he in more stuff?" But also, I think I just haven't seen a lot of the things that he's been in, so
Yeah.
I'm happy that he's in Grey's Anatomy.
My goodness. Yeah, that's cool. I have 2 Adam Devine little tidbits.
Okay.
And my first one is that it was announced a few weeks ago that they're making a new Pitch Perfect TV series on Peacock, and it's an Adam Devine-led spinoff. I really hope I'm saying his name right, because if
Yeah.
it's Devine this whole time,
Yeah, I know.
I feel so bad.
Apologies.
But, yeah, so he reprises his role as
Mhm.
Bumper, and he's also joined by Jamila Jamil, from The Good Place, and Sarah
Ooh.
Hyland, who was his love interest on Modern Family, who we all know from
Mhm,
Modern Family, and, that's so exciting. And then also my other tidbit is
mhm.
he plays Kelvin on the HBO dark comedy Righteous Gemstones.
Uh-huh.
I love this show. There's 2 seasons out. It is so twisted and honestly sometimes just, like, crude and crass.
Really?
But it's just so absurd, and I genuinely laugh out loud, like, full belly laugh to the show because 'cause you're just like, "What is happening?" Like, fully
Yeah.
in shock the whole time. I love it. I hope everyone watches it.
Wait, is that Danny McBride is in there, right? Or am I confusing that
I
with something else?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll have to look.
Yeah.
I'll have to look. I anything on HBO I will watch with my full attention. So I will definitely have to look that up. Um, but listeners, we want to know your thoughts about Pitch Perfect. Did it make you want to join an a cappella group? Is this your favorite musical movie? What do you think about Becca's character? Make sure to slide into our DMs at Meet Cute. Again, guys, I'm Kendra. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Ken10Hollywood.
Yes, and I'm Mercedes. You can find me at MercedesGB11 on Twitter, IG, and TikTok. And if you're looking for new rom-coms, follow Meet Cute wherever you listen to podcasts and follow Meet Cute on socials everywhere. Bye, everyone.
We'll see you next week.